Hi, good evening. My name is Father Rayappa. I'm talking about Gandhian economics. They were created at the turn of the 20th century, that is 1908. That is the year Mahatma Gandhi wrote a beautiful book called Swadeshi. So Swadeshi and other two, Swaraj and Sarvodaya, these are three terms are interrelated. One leads to the other. Swadeshi leads to Swaraj. Swaraj is self-rule, inner rule, outer rule. And the last is Sarvodaya, the upliftment of all. So Swadeshi, I love my neighbor. I do my service to my neighbor. That is Swadeshi. And then, in order to do service, I need to practice ahimsa and truth. So that is self-rule. You rule by non-violence and truth. And the last one naturally leads to Sarvodaya, that is welfare of all, upliftment of all. So these are the three interrelated terms. I'm going to explain them to you because Pope Francis recently wrote an encyclical called Laudato Si. I think he explains these three terms without mentioning them, the same concept in an international level. Mahatma Gandhi wrote it for India for Desi purpose, but Pope Francis is promoting in the international level. So that tells you how important Mahatma Gandhi and economics are. So today we lost them, but we can find them. And we need to deconstruct ourselves and we have to reconstruct ourselves. So that is the way we can find our prosperous future, I believe. Okay, I'm going to talk now on Swaraj. Already I made one segment on Swadeshi. So this Swaraj, the concept of Swaraj or self-rule. Swaraj means self-rule, maybe inner rule or outer rule. It was developed during the Indian freedom struggle. In his book in Swaraj, which was written in 1908, Gandhi sought to clarify that the meaning behind Swaraj was much more than simply wanting the systems of English rule. The crux of his argument centered on the belief that the socio-spiritual underpinnings of British political, economic, bureaucratic, legal, military, and educational institutions were inherently unjust, exploitative, and alienating. So that is what Mahatma Gandhi found. On another level, the call for Swaraj represents a genuine attempt to regain control of the self, our own self. That is, our self-respect, self-responsibility, and capacities for self-realization from institutions of dehumanization. As Gandhi states in his Swaraj, it is Swaraj when we learn to rule ourselves. The real goal of the freedom struggle was not only to secure political azadi, that is not the political independence. We were not aiming from Britain alone, but rather to gain true Swaraj, liberation and self-rule. It's not the British people we were kicking out. It is our own arrogance, it's on our violent attitude, it's on anger, it's on selfishness, it's on our greed. That is what we need to kick it out. So that is inner Swaraj and outer Swaraj. Gandhi wanted all those who believed in Swaraj to do two things. One, first, reject and wholly uproot the British Raj or rule from within themselves and their communities. So it's not only white people you get out, he didn't say that, but the bad stuff within you, everything is unjust. All the unjust things should we throw out of our country. That makes sense. So anything unjust, come on, purge them and throw them out. The second is to regenerate new reference points, systems, and structures that enable individuals and collective self-development. So in other words, these two are, first is deconstruct yourself, the second one is reconstruct yourself. This regeneration, reconstruction was to grow from the strengths, perspectives, wisdom, and experiences of people living in village India, rather than from cities in Britain, America, and even in India for that matter, Understanding the real self and its relation to communities and society is critical to the project of attaining Swaraj. How is this relevant for us today? We feel that South Asia, along with the rest of the world, is experiencing a tremendous crisis, one overwhelming in its scale and pace of growth. While it is easy to get caught up in the symptoms of this crisis, that is, the brutal violence, the enormous inequities, the extinction of cultures and languages, the degradation of the environment. That is, it is equally, if not more, important to understand its roots. We must creatively analyze the content and the consequences of our current economic, political, social, and educational systems without reverting to a romanticized past of so-called untouched or pristine traditions. From these critical reflections, we must generate new spaces, systems, and processes based on moral and holistic vision of human potential and human progress, which can lead us out of the global self-destruction which engulfs us. Throughout it all, we must consider and negotiate our own roles while asking ourselves how we are either working for solutions or contributing to making the crisis worse. Thus, today, we recognize Gandhi's concept of Swaraj integral to three parallel action reflection agendas for the 21st century. Here are the three agendas or three components to create Swaraj, self-rule. Number one, decolonization of the mind. Deconstruct your mind, understanding the roots of the crisis before us. So, the problems what we face today, it's all created by us. It is not God who created the problems. It is humans who created the problems because of our mental paradigms, because of our past erroneous construction. So, decolonize, deconstruct the mind first. Second, re-evaluation and critical traditionalism. We have to learn from the past, but we can't go back. So let us find the wisdom in our tradition. And science and technology alone can't solve problems. And also the village indigenous wisdom and intelligence we should bring into focus. The last third one is creative regeneration, that is reconstruction, growing new ways forward. So we deconstruct, at the same time we find our cultures, the wisdom and all the resources in India in the past, the present, and try to construct a new path, a new way. So after construction, we can go forward. That's what Mahatma Gandhi vision of in Swaraj. Thank you. Goodbye.